Okay, there's almost nobody around, but I almost never take my mask off. I'm in New York, and I don't like the air. It just funky, yo. For whatever reason, I just don't like it. I never wear this much mask in during COVID. I just don't like it. I just don't like it. As I was saying, I want to talk about how my life got twisted upside down. Anyways, or when things start to fall into perspective, my perspective on a lot of things just start to shift. And I'm grateful for a lot of terrible experience, because it shed the necessary light that was needed for me to be where I'm at, even though I'm not where I want to be, but I'm where I'm supposed to be. There was a time when, hey sweetheart, I'm talking to the birds. There was a time when I was just taking pictures and saving videos and whatever. Almost like crazy, taking up so much space in my phone. It made no sense. But then at some point it started making sense that I was collecting what they would now call receipts without knowing it. I say that because I've said it before. Everything that I speak on, I can, oh my god. There's so much of them and they're getting closer. And they're loud. Where was I? So, okay guys. Tone it down a little bit. Tone it down a little bit. What was I saying? I was collecting what they now call receipts, and who knew that they would come in handy. But the thing about these receipts is that when I start realizing that they were coming in handy, it's because, you know, people turn out to not be who I thought they were. And then I was like, thank God I have this and that to prove this and that. But then it was coming from a space somewhere in the heart where it felt more revengeful, like as much as it would prove that I'm right, I just didn't want to, or just couldn't rather. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not in me to fight dirty. I can, but at this point in my life, I guess I was even following my intuition before even knowing what an intuition is, because I wasn't taught. And if you don't know, you just don't know. So my intuition wouldn't let me fight back, and everything just keep making sense after the fact. And it's at the point right now where sometimes I'm just glad I didn't, I guess you could say, retaliate. Babies, I guess it's at the point where you can say I'm glad I didn't retaliate the way I was gonna, but some stuff I still need to speak on. I noticed the shift when I was it's kind of hard to pinpoint, but the biggest thing for me, the most noticeable thing for me, was when I tried to help my little sister. I would call by name when I feel like it, because she considers herself to be an influencer, and she took this to the public and blah blah blah. So not to go tit for tat or be revengeful like I said, but I kind of don't care if I call her by name. And if I say mommy and everybody know who mommy is, then whatever. I'm gonna be talking about my mommy too, or mommy. But anyways, the shift, I started noticing it after trying to help her out, because she was like, I guess you could call her prison bird. She just in and out of the institution, if that's what you call it. And I remember the last time she got arrested on her birthday. I don't remember which year that was, but the year she came here in America was, I think, 2022. I think it was 22. And she was she came here illegally, and she was in a detention, and they wouldn't let her out unless she had some address to go to. And she made some agreement with another sister for the address to go to, but because of how messy she is and always talking about this, talking about that on the internet, the sister that was trying to help her is a Jehovah's Witness, and she started hearing her name, the sister that is trying to help her, started hearing her name going around on social media, and she didn't like that, so she decided to disassociate herself from that sister, the influencer. And I guess I took it upon myself to let her come to me at last minute. And in that process, they were also having a party somewhere. Some other influencers, they were having a party somewhere in New York. And it was like perfect timing, where I just felt the need to take the time off work and take her to meet her friends. I was so excited about her being here and being around me, because I just thought this little girl is like a little lost soul, and I could really be of good use to her. She just kept herself from the family and act as if she's on her own, but she's not. It's just that the way the rest of the family desire for her to live, it don't suit her. So she just kept, even from before being an influencer as a child, she used to run away from home constantly. She was in many homes. I don't know what you call those homes, like rehabilitation center or whatever. And even those places she would break away from. She's a Sagittarius, so at some point it kind of makes sense that she's not the type to be held captive. But anyways, and that's another thing too. On this journey I come to understand a lot about, not enough, but a lot about zodiac signs. And if we try not to be in denial about certain things and stop expecting everybody in our family to be like everybody in our family, and understand that everybody have their own personalities, then we could meet them at certain places, and it would make a lot of things easier. That's not to excuse her behavior, but being a Sagittarius, it kind of explains a lot of her behavior, but that's beside the point. So anyways, when she came out of the detention center from coming here illegally, and they caught her, have her in, I don't even remember where, but she came here with me. I cleaned the room, the back room that I haven't touched in forever in the house where we're staying. Clean the back room that I haven't touched in forever. It was a lot of work. I bought a 75-inch TV for her. I went out. I would say all out, but no. I went out trying to make sure she was comfortable. I said to her in a voice note, because everything is in a voice note or a message, because she don't reach out. Even when I was making space for her to come stay with me, we weren't really in communication still. It was always so hard to get in touch with her, but you could always find her online on the internet going live talking about things that don't matter. So I just say that to say that she was just always distancing herself from the family, always, even when you're trying to help her. So I said to her that I know it's not her ideal environment, because I know at this point why she keep running away, but we'll make it work, because she's gonna come to a space where she's loved and welcome. But I guess that wasn't good enough for her. I found myself drifting into some kind of topic that I don't really want to get into, because there's like two ways to look at everything that happened. Like I said, I didn't want to be revengeful or whatnot, and though I have receipts, as they call it, to back everything that I'm saying, I do want to bring to mind the thing about being in spiritual warfare. I noticed that everybody in New York smoked. I was going to turn the camera around on this guy. He's just smoke and blowing it on this side. Can you take it on this side? It's coming on me. The smoke is coming on me. You don't have to put it out. Just sit on this side. The wind will take it over there. So what was I saying? Because it's a spiritual warfare, and I said something about recognizing certain spirit that people carry. Some of them know, some of them do not know, and I'm not gonna say whether my sister know what kind of spirit she's carrying, because even destiny swapping is in the making, and I couldn't believe it at first, but I have a lot of reason to at this point. But to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, I just understand that it's a spiritual warfare, and we're not fighting flesh and blood. It's a spirit that they carry, knowingly and unknowingly. Thank you. So God, it's not easy to talk about, but it's necessary. The camera just stopped recording. Hopefully that did record what I just said, because like I say, as hard as it is to talk about, I'm going to talk about everything. I'm just trying not to paint people in the worst light. If I tell them my truth, whatever color you put to it and paint them in for yourself, if you know who these people are, it is what it is. but I am doing my best to get people to understand that there's also a need for forgiveness, but still hold people accountable. So I heard about my family member, and it would seem as if it's all of them, and I mean all of them, like 99% of them. It is wild. Shit is wild. I don't even want to talk about that too much because it was so as if it's all in my mind. I'm still processing a lot of it, but thanks to my intuition, it's not hard to believe, and it's not hard to see that much of it is true anymore. Nobody ever come forward and say, I'm sorry, or it's true. But the way God works, I don't need man's approval for anything. Never did. But I want to talk about the stuff that I have the receipts on. So for any reason I want to pull them up later, I can pull them up because I speak on it. I was at Amazon warehouse for 5 years. I wasn't planning on staying there that long, but I was wrongfully terminated. I was seeing this person. I wouldn't really call it a relationship, but I was seeing this person while I was there. I heard that even him teamed up with my sister, and the reason why I tipped my head when I heard that story and believe it somewhat was because that I had a bad relationship. This was after my sister backstabbed me. If I didn't get into that yet, I have in other videos, but I'm gonna in this one as well. That my sister and I were on rocky road, like we weren't talking at this point ever since she betrayed me January 6, 2003. I haven't seen or spoken to her since, and it's now I think March 3rd, 2025. So this guy and I we're still whatever. And then he had the nerve to tell me that he was watching a live with my sister today. Not today, but when he told me. And he gifted her a rose. I wasn't jealous or anything, but why are you even telling me that? And, oh, God. Maybe, I don't know. I keep pushing through this need to shut up. And I heard about shut up spells. So I keep pushing through this need to speak on certain things because it's just annoying, and maybe it's annoying for a reason for me to not talk about it or feel as if there's a need to talk about it, but I know it's necessary, so I'm trying to push through. At the time, it was a little telltale to me when the guy said that, because for one, you might question why I was with him. I also heard and learned about love spell as well, but it wasn't doing shit for me. And then for you to tell me that you're gifting somebody who publicly tried to put me down, what were you expect me to feel about that? I didn't give him the reaction I think he was fishing for, but still I was processing in my head like, why would you even tell me that? Do what you please, but why would you even tell me that? I heard about all my exes, not that there are billions of them, worked with my mother for various reasons. If you know, you know. A lot of things I'll talk about some other time. The mother story now it was just hard to process because I can't remember me and my mommy ever having a good relationship, but I can tell you I've always wanted to, and it reached a point where I realized that will never happen. It will never happen. I'm gonna pause for a second. I got a message from my son just now as I paused the video, and I was told that they also using him against me. There was a time. He's a grown boy now, but there was a time when I was wondering why almost everything he was doing would get under my skin, only after reacting to certain simple little things some type of way, like it just wasn't called for. But then it started making sense that they were using some kind of spell. It's so hard to say. Like, I know a lot of people won't believe it, but it's necessary. They were using some kind of spell, like chaos spell. I recognize that one, especially when I start realizing exactly what was going on. But when I look back on years before even understanding anything about spirituality, it really was happening for as long as I can remember. And the fact that me and my mommy couldn't get along, the fact that I would trip over certain things when it comes to me and my son, and I'm a good woman. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I can. And I've never been married, and there's a reason for that. The way my exes were towards me makes sense. This love spell foolishness. Like I said, they've been trying to use my son against me as well. Create a great distance between me and everybody because it seems as if there's no love there and no one that I can trust. And the separation spell that I suppose they're using between my son and I, it cannot stop the love that we have for each other, but the communication went downhill. And I spoke to him about what's going on. I don't think he completely believed me or understand what's going on, but he listens, and one day it will all make sense. I try to, let me not say, but anyways, lately I've been hearing about, because there's this distance between me and my family, they can't really reach me the way that they would like to do what they want to do, so they're trying to use him against me. So I've been seeing 1 and 2 texts come back in for the past few weeks. Can count on one hand the amount of texts that came in the past few weeks. But he's a grown boy, like I said, so I told him to prioritize, so forth and so on. And I don't feel bad about cutting even him off. Kind of did, but when it comes to doing God's will, what must be will be. And I made sure I'm clear on that. And I also made sure that I'm clear on I love you, baby, but you gotta understand. You gotta understand. And even if you don't understand, my action will speak louder than my words. But like I said before, I cut this message off and my baby texts me. I'll get back to this. You know, knowing me, though I'm still getting to know me, I'll probably not get back to this for a hot minute. So if I should put what I just put together, if I just put whatever video I just made, I'll keep cutting it off. What if I should put them together? And I want it to make sense. I just want to mention a few other things. My mother, what was I going to say about her? Something about her kicking me while I was down. Even though I've never been financially stable, whenever I have it, she would have it. And I used to dream about buying her a house. I know about her relationship with her mommy and how terrible it was, so I didn't expect much from her when it comes to showing her children love. But I tried with everybody, family, friends, strangers, co-workers, everybody, to leave them better than I find them and speak life into them. And if I see them going down the wrong path, like, who am I to say anything? I still say something. So she used to have a problem with me telling her about herself, even when I try to say it in the sweetest way. Hey guys, go away. A little too loud. So we never really had a good relationship. Never did. Sometimes we'll be talking like we do and people see us and think that we're best friends, but before the sunset we're back at it again. We're more off than we're on. And like I said, I wasn't financially stable, but when I have it, she would have it. She haven't had a job since excuse my English if it's a little off for some of you, my grammar or whatnot. I don't feel like that came out right, but whatever. She haven't been working for over 10 years. Probably a little over, way over, but let's just say 10 years. And when I was working at Amazon, every time I'll have it, she would have it, no matter how small. But when I lost my job, I didn't hear back from this woman. And I did say I got wrongfully terminated. There are times, like I say, we never get along, and we would get on the phone and get off in some kind of heated argument. But then the next day or a couple of days later, I'll hear from her, whether she's trying to update me on my son or something, just slide back in some way, somehow, and then without apology, we just always carry on until we're off again. Carry on and then we're off again. But all of that just stopped completely. Like, there was no picking up from nowhere when I lost my job. She just reminded me in that aspect where if you don't have anything to give, she's Jamaican, if you don't have anything to give, you're not friends anymore. But when they know that they can get even a little smallest from you at some point, they try to keep the line of communication open. But there was nothing to give, so that stopped completely. We got in a heated argument, and that was also during one of the time shortly after losing the job, where we pick up like we usually do, and she used that time, I suppose, to kick me while I was down. And I decided it was the last time, and I cut all communication and I blocked her. I had 2 phones at the time. She never reached out to me in any other way. She never called any of my other family member close by me to ask me what was up or anything. She just got the message, I guess, and we're mutual grounds, I suppose. But when things just kept getting worse and worse and worse, the other family members would act as if I was the one who cut all communication, and it's my mother and I need to reach out to her. And my sisters, especially one of them in particular, would talk about how sorry my mother is. Not sorry, but that she's trying to reach out to me and I'm not answering the phone. Like, I don't know what story she's telling her, but there were ways to get to me if you wanted to get to me. Because I decided that was the last time you did me wrong, so I cut communication. And that was just that. I will definitely share that more on that story later. What else I wanted to touch on? I definitely get back to you. This is not, I wouldn't say draining, but it's draining to talk about. So I heard about her destiny swapping. I heard about her working with my mommy, and that my mommy been working on me from I was a child. Don't let me tell you how hard that was to believe. It's like only spiritual people, maybe only spiritual people will understand at this point that when you trust your intuition, you just have to trust your intuition. And it's not even about people calling you crazy, but just that they won't believe the same way you wouldn't believe or didn't believe the first time you hear certain things about what your family member carrying out behind your back. I will also talk about the uncle I was staying with before I hit the street, who was in prison for many years for touching his own daughter. But the reason I mentioned that is to just kind of paint a picture of the mind frame that man have, even though he tried to say that wasn't true and admit it years later. I got evicted from the house where I was staying, and he offered for me to come stay with him for as long as I wanted. A couple of weeks in, well, the receipt is also there for however long that was. He said something about, that was also hard to talk about. He said something about, what the heck he said? He wanted me to watch a video with him, and the video was some kind of porn video. And I guess that opened the line of communication with him, because I'm too open-minded, I guess. It can be detrimental to some extent. So when he realized I wasn't judging him for the type of person he is, he started asking certain questions and then passing by and touching me a certain way. And it would be like having your hand in lion mouth and taking your time to take it out. Because of course I'm mature enough to say no to certain things, which I did. But then sometimes it's almost like playing fool to catch wise and being in a sticky situation. Kind of felt cornered when it comes to certain. I don't want to play victim. But anyways, I thought I had a hand on the situation, but things was really getting out of hand. And he really wanted to have sex with me, bottom line. And because I wouldn't let him, he started giving me hell in that house. To the point of calling police, saying that he felt threatened by me being in there. I never threatened a dog or a fly, but it was just doing the most. And I got called from 911 saying the person in the house feel threatened by me and I have 1 hour to leave. This was a couple months in, and if they should pull up at the house and see me there, then I would be arrested, and I wasn't having that. So I grabbed what I could and I left the house before the police came. This person that I used to work with at Amazon was living a couple of houses away from that house, where we spoke a few times when I would take walks to go ground and bathe in the sun. So he was home when I told him what happened, and I took a ride. I got a ride from him to go to my sister's house. I wonder if I'm being there. I took a ride for him to go to my sister's house, and on his way back to his house, he saw a police car at the house. So it was no false alarm. It was a true statement. Well, police did call me. And a couple days before that, before I had to leave, he served me an eviction notice, and I was supposed to leave 1 week from that day, but I guess it wasn't soon enough. That's why I called for the restraining order thing he's saying, if you threaten, so I could leave sooner. And about that eviction notice, it was served by the door in the room where I'm staying, right under the camera that they put above the room that I'm staying. And he lied in court when he went about the eviction notice that he did not serve me any eviction notice, so that should be on camera. He lied about a lot of things. It's like I don't know how to handle the stories that I'm trying to tell yet. Because the point of it all is that there's some physical explanation to everything spiritual. It was mostly a spiritual attack painted as physical when they're trying to make me look like something that I'm not. I'll get back to what I'm saying. Yes, it's another day. Greetings, Grand Rising. I meant to say that we went to court, this uncle and I, but well, it slipped me again. Yesterday I said eviction notice. That's not what it was. It was restraining order. We went to court about restraining order, and they lied about not serving me any eviction notice, and they did. And the person, it was a white guy who gave it to me, officer or whatever position is. I don't know. Those things never happened to me before. So he gave it to me and he pat me on the shoulder like, good luck. Anyway, so that happened right on the camera that he put up like a couple days before. So for him to lie in court that it didn't happen, he might as well lie that he don't have a camera. He never had a camera, or that he lost the footage, or it wasn't working that day. Anyways, I say that because if necessary, I'm asking for it, because I'm not letting anything go. I'm just leaving a lot of things to time. No, it makes sense to think that a lot of my family and those associated with them will be going to prison. I mean, I can't help it. Maybe I can, but I don't need to. They dig the grave, so they're laying it. So maybe that's also one of the reasons why some things I don't talk about, because it's not necessarily my desire, but what must be will be, and I'm not getting in the way of anything that I have to be. I'm just being mindful to not be used by certain energy to bring my so-called people down, because we are really being used against each other, whether we know it or not. But still, people have to be held accountable. Some of them don't know what they're doing, some of them do. It's not my job to know who do or who don't, but you're gonna learn either the easy or the hard way if you can't get your shit together.